is Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. And this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk. Hi, this is Tom Mealy. You may recognize my voice from the Harrison Law Group, but you know what, people? Today, it's not about the law. It's about a problem. It's about a crisis here on Long Island. I want you to join us every Tuesday night with your host, Linda Ventura, on MHTV1.com to get informed about the serious drug problem here on Long Island. You may know Linda. She lost her son, Thomas, to a heroin overdose. She didn't know what the signs were. She didn't have the help. Now Linda's going to host a show every Tuesday night starting at 8 p.m. with live interviews. So if you have a child who may be showing signs or any symptoms of drug abuse in any capacity, you need to tune in. You need to get educated, and you need to see the signs before it's too late. Tune in, MHTV1.com, 8 p.m. every Tuesday night.
What are you doing? Moving.
Where to?
Wednesday nights.
Jerry Parisi and the Filmmakers Show moves to Wednesday nights starting April 15th.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
I am Tommy Marr,
otherwise known as the Maverick Soul.
and I am live in the Madhouse.
For my show, Maverick Soul Hour.
Come and join us. It's the place to be.
Right here on Madhouse TV, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we will put you out to the entire world.
You got that right.
I'm Violetta Analakari.
And I'm Leland Prater.
And I'm Shirley Nichols. And I'm watching Madhousetv.com.
You're watching Madhousetv.com. Stay tuned for the Filmmakers Show starring Jerry Parisi.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi, and welcome to the Filmmakers Show right here at Madhouse TV tonight. We have such great guests. They are working with films for many, many years now, and Jason Michael Breja, and of course, Dan Prasino. And you know, it's funny, I'm looking at Greg Prasino on the other side of the camera going, wait, this is too funny. You're related to Greg.
I am. Greg's my cousin.
He's your cousin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. But we have some real important stuff to talk about with Bridge and Tunnel tonight. And I got to tell you, just listening to you before about how far you got and what you've done in just a small span of about a year or two. How many years from start to finish?
All right, well, I guess we went into pre-production for Bridge and Tunnel began around Labor Day weekend in 2012.
Okay.
And we kind of went into it with the same movie, but about a month later, Hurricane Sandy happened, and that sort of threw a lot off course. But we were locked into starting shooting the first week of December of 2012.
Okay.
And the movie takes place over the course of a year, but we had already worked out with agents and flights were booked to start in December. Then we're going to reconvene in May when the in May when the seasons changed a little bit, and then again later on in the summer. And after Hurricane Sandy happened, I really had no choice but to write it into the narrative of the movie. So basically the climax of the film was sort of rewritten around what happened when we already had entered pre-production and were locked into a certain set of shooting dates. And we wrapped shooting in the summer of 2013 just as the boardwalk was rebuilt in Long Beach,
Right.
because we had a scene that took place on the boardwalk, and we waited for it to enough of it to be rebuilt for us to do the scene we wanted to do. And took us several months then to finish post-production. But a year ago right now is when the film premiered up in the Catskills at the Catskill Mountains Film Festival the first weekend of May 2014. We just wrapped up our final film festival 20-something festivals later in Maryland at the Maryland International Film Festival. That was a week or two ago. I can't remember anymore. But yeah, so it was a year of festivaling, and now 2 years. It's almost been 3 years now that I think about it. It's 2015. That was 2012. I'm getting old.
It goes by so fast.
I just said that.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear him on camera, he just keeps getting himself.
Oh, sorry. It's funny because like you started writing this 2012, 2011.
2011.
When he did his first movie, The Newest Pledge, I had a song in that, and then when he asked me to be a part, help out, I came out to set a bunch of times, and it's just funny how like, oh, it's not coming out. It's 2015. You put it in your back of your head, you're just like, it's not gonna be for a while, and then all of a sudden now it's like everything's up and here.
So let me start by let's start here, but like bring it back just a little bit before we begin to get into what the movie's about, because it sounds very interesting. And hearing from your point of view that it's been on festivals and everything else, let's figure out. You are the executive producer.
I wrote and directed the movie.
Wrote and directed it.
No producer credit.
No producer credit. And what about you, Dan?
Me, my main part in this whole project was music. I wrote an original song for it. I helped him out, do whatever I could. And then I was also an extra in the movie a couple of times. I think my voice is used once in it. And then, just hanging out on set, doing anything you need to help out, stuff like that. Yeah.
All kinds of good work.
Exactly.
Okay. So now let me get to the first question, which I probably should have asked earlier, but since I struggle with your name, because there's a lot of letters, Dan, 3.
It's a
tough one.
Sometimes.
Let me begin at that. What is Bridge and Tunnel about?
All right. Well, I got the back of this DVD I can read. No, I'm joking. Bridge and Tunnel is about a group of 20-somethings. There's 8 of them, 4 guys, 4 girls, and it's sort of about they're part of this millennial generation, the people born in the 80s who graduated college in the mid-2000s, and it's about them sort of dealing with life in post-recession suburbia, sort of going from the freedom of college to moving back in with their parents, paying off student debt while having a job that you're not qualified for. Even though you just went to Columbia Law School, you're not going to come out and make enough money to even pay off your tuition, sort of thing. And it's sort of, but, that sounds pretty heavy, but it's really, it's sort of light. It's a lighthearted take on it. I tried not to make it seem like a piece of complaining about that sort of stuff. Just sort of, well, this is the hand we were given. Other generations were given just as bad of a hand. I mean, my grandparents' generation, they spent that age in the Great Depression and then went on to fight in World War II.
Horrible.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not to say that this is the worst thing ever, but it's just like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going through. And there is some humor. There's some situational humor to sort of the mom walking in on the couple in the parents' house in their bedroom sort of stuff.
Oh, wait, you mean the bedroom scene?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We want to get that straight for those who people are hanging on their computers right now or on Channel 20 on the foot of their TVs.
Yep.
What's it rated?
Rated. It's a rated R movie, but there's no nudity, and it's more for profanity. I mean, there's not tons of it. It's natural profanity. A bartender's telling a story. He speaks the way the bartender speaks when you're in the South Shore of Long Island. And that's sort of it. So it's a natural rated R. I mean, I'm not a profane person in my everyday life. There's no nudity in the film. It's just, there's some light drug use, such as, pill popping, and then, there's profanity. So it got it's an R for that reason.
And who rated that R? You or did the MPAA?
MPAA. Yeah,
MPAA.
we went through that when we had our theatrical release this past September in LA, and we kind of had to go. It's one of those things like we were talking before we were on air. I'll let the audience know. I guess it's one of those things that we did ourselves, because when you go as an independent film, when you sign on with a distributor, that's one of the things that if you don't do yourself, they'll say that they had to pay to do themselves anyway.
Oh,
so
I totally know that one.
So it's just sort of, just get it done yourself. It's a process to go through, but we had to go through it anyway. So.
And speaking of the different guilds and things you used Screen Actors Guild members, SAG members.
Of course, yeah. We were a SAG ultra low budget production. Without getting into the exact number of our budget, it just means that our movie costs under $200,000 to make.
Right.
And what's great about it is that we were allowed to use SAG actors and non-SAG actors without any real constraints on it. So we were able to give some people who I knew who really were hungry to start their acting careers a chance to have a featured role.
Right, but let me ask you something. From what I know about the Screen Actors Guild, having been in it since 1981, if your movie made a lot of money,
everything changes.
Everything is going to change. They're going to come back to you and say, "Okay, now you have to give the people cards that had made, and somehow $3,190 has to be forked over for every single one of them."
Yeah.
And the reality is, the Screen Actors Guild allows that to allow. It's sort of like doing, I guess, local theater for actors to keep their hand in working and doing it that way.
Yeah.
And so that's important.
To be completely fair, if our movie were to have that sort of success, I think that that's the least you could do to really pay it back to those people who spent 12 hours, woke up at 3 in the morning to go sit in a bar and drink cans of Canada Dry soda to go. You know what I mean? It's the least we could do, because they didn't get paid while they were there. They ate Fritos and drank soda and went home. You know what I mean?
Nothing
with a
like
smile
Fritos.
on their face. With a smile on their face. So
Nothing like Fritos.
I wish we would do well enough to buy each of those people their SAG cards.
Well, the one thing I want to touch on, as you mentioned before, was how it's on Long Island and everything. The one thing I think was great about the movie, and I'm sure Jake can agree with me, is that the authenticity of the roles.
Sure.
I think it was a great idea getting, there's 2 guys that grew up on Long Island that are in it, that have made parts, that did a great job, and then even the guys from out of town, like I think Ryan's from Michigan, right?
Yeah, one actress from
they delivered a good job. I gotta say, just talking the way people on Long Island talk, I think they did a good job of bringing some authenticity.
Yeah, there is somewhat of an accent to Long Island people.
Oh, absolutely. You don't think it's always like those people have accents until you.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you something about the contracts. Having gone through some of this myself and watching the process, how did you do the contracts for all of this? Did you create your own production company, and now you're going to marry up with another company? Go ahead, tell me.
What we did is, first we created our own LLC just for this movie to kind of keep us protected. And then through that, we also had our production company, Glacier Road Productions.
Okay.
And they were kind of signed on, hired basically to be the production company by the LLC, which was sort of owned by the same people. We had a production lawyer who worked with us on creating all the contracts, and then when we were with each actor who had representation, the lawyer, our producer and their agent would sort of work out the fine details, send all the information over to our lawyer, and then our lawyer and the producer would work on creating the contract, send it back, and then all of that stuff would get. I'm sure you know, it's a much longer process.
It is. I was going to say.
Needs to be. I mean, they have the templates, but it's just going back and forth just to make sure. The agents are just doing their job to make, and the producer's doing his or her job to make sure that every little thing is perfect. For
now,
them.
if you sold that movie, do you sell the corporation with it?
The LLC? No. Because with my first feature film, The Newest Pledge, when we sold our film, not just we sold the domestic rights and then later several international markets. The Newest Pledge Productions LLC is still owned by my main producer on that film, Bob.
Okay.
So we would try and basically do the same thing, because I guess nowadays, you're selling the rights to so many. If one company came along and they were like, we want all of your international rights, your airborne rights, your TV, or just every single rights for across the world, sure, go ahead and take, and forever for a non-ending term. But I know with the newest pledge, most of them were either 3 to 10-year contracts.
Right.
So then it comes back to the LLC's domain. And I know that some of the deals that we've already worked out for Bridge and Tunnel, it's a 1.5-year contract, and then it comes back to the LLC. A 3-year offer is on the table, and then it comes back to the LLC, so on and so forth.
Where'd you go to school?
I got my degree in film production from Chapman University in Orange, California.
Okay.
Great school, had a great film program. And I met so many great professors. A lot of the people who I still work with today, my cinematographer and my editor, I met both of them there. Bob, who I'd mentioned, the main producer for the newest pledge, who was also a producer.
Bob's last name is?
Burton. Bob Burton.
Burton. We don't want to forget that.
You don't forget it. You remember it. I met him there. I met a lot of great people there who I continued to work with. And the editor, the cinematographer, producer of both of my features, I met well. And so they all worked on my senior thesis project while I was there. So it was great. And it was a great experience. And professors from there still watch cuts of my movie and send me notes, so on and so forth. So it was a great experience to grow as a filmmaker.
Awesome. And tell me, Dan, about you. You put the music into the...
Well, I did one original song, plus anything else that he needed help with, little stuff here and there, and pretty much the soundtrack is when you have a movie soundtrack nowadays, especially back in like the 90s, the 80s, used to be a little bigger, but now who really goes and buys movie soundtracks anymore?
I don't know.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, it was great that Jay, decided to do original songs for this, and it's
please go buy it.
It's actually cool.
There's tons of them just sitting in boxes. Just go buy it.
They got them printed on nice colored vinyl.
What is this?
It's the soundtrack.
It's the vinyl record soundtrack of the Bridge and Tunnel original soundtrack. You get it at Enjoy the Ride Records.
Yeah, it's cool because you got guys from bands like Taking Back Sunday, I Am the Avalanche, and The Movie Life, and then you got bands like Bayside that's on there.
Nice.
Ryan Hunter did the original score for the movie from MB on the Coast, and it's good to just have. It's mostly Long Island. Born and raised guys.
It's all Long Island artists.
It's all Long Island, yeah.
And you had this cut out. You had this.
Yeah, there was.
That's a very expensive jacket.
Yeah, it was it's kind of like George Harrison's extra texture jacket, where it's sort of a die cut.
Yeah, it's a die cut.
And then we got
which costs a lot of money.
And the vinyl itself is colored. It's not black.
You know who did that? Grand Funk with American Band.
Yep.
They
and
did, that's right.
What's cool about this is there's 500 copies of it printed in the world, but each one has a slightly different design. So it ranges from clear to almost black, with almost every color scheme in between.
How nice.
So like this one's brown, but as you can see, there's some swirls of other colors in there. I don't know if it'll really read, but...
It's a gold record. Let's just
say that. It's super cool. And we found a record label, Enjoy the Ride Records, which was Long Island based. And
really? How nice is that?
And and he was the head of it. His name's Ross Shotland. He's a huge fan of many of these artists, and he's pressed their band's records in the past, because I guess vinyl's sort of making a comeback within the alternative music circle. And he was all about it, and he was a great
That's
support.
like saying I want to bring back trolley cars because they run on electric, and let's string the wire.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. So you got this record accompanying your DVD.
Yep.
You did the music on it. You were the director and the writer, and you had some interesting cast in there from some pretty well-known things. So let's hear about that.
Cool, yeah. I'll go over some of my favorite cast members first, and I'll get into the ones I don't like. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I like them all. Interesting. I guess starting with the most interesting would be Annette Mahendru from The Americans. She actually graduated high school on Long Island in Hicksville.
Is that
so
right?
So the story was personal for her, and that was, I think that's what drew her to it. And I mean, she was a pleasure to work with. She was only on set for 3 or 4 days, but it was just, she brings such a professional energy to everything she does.
That's
so
nice.
It was great having her. And on a similar vein, Mary Kate Wiles, she's the red-haired girl in the film. Her TV show just won an Emmy last year for the first web show to ever win an Emmy, the Lizzie Bennett Diaries. And same thing. I've been working with Mary Kate. She was in my senior thesis in college.
Wow.
And then she went on to have success. I mean, she had a role in The Newest Pledge that got cut out. But I feel bad for that, Mary Kate, if you're watching. But we've had that discussion before. Anyway, but she was a delight to work with as well. Such a professional energy. In the same vein, Arjun Gupta, who plays the lead in the film, Terry, he was from Nurse Jackie. And he's got a new show coming out on Sci-Fi this year called The Magicians, which is based on a popular teen sort of magic, the science fiction teen stuff. That's all the rage with these kids these days. And then Ryan Metcalf, who's one of the other leads, he's from Whit Stillman's most recent feature film, Damsels in Distress. That's how I found him. It was playing at the Malvern Movie Theater, and I went to go see it. And his character just made me laugh. So I'm like, you know what? I want this guy. I'm going to go look into it.
And how did you find him?
So that's what I'm saying. So this is how it went about. So I'm watching the movie. This is actually a great story. I'll tell you how we got the whole cast together. Because it was about how you were kind of talking here on Long Island. Everything's sort of dominoes. And in New York, in the New York acting world, it's sort of dominoes. So I was at the Malvern Movie Theater. And I went to go see Damsels in Distress. And this one character popped out. It was sort of a frat guy. And he made me laugh. Because I had just come out of making a frat movie. My first movie, The Newest Pledge, was a frat movie. So this character, he made me laugh. And I'm going to go on my IMDb Pro, and I looked him up. And I saw his manager was based out of New York City. So I'm like, oh, no way is he... Because I knew Damsels in Distress shot in New York City. So I'm like, okay, this guy's local. I gave her a call. She set up a meeting with he and I at a Pete's Coffee or something that in the city.
Yeah.
We sat down. We talked for a couple of hours. This was in that September 2012 period. And we shook hands and left, and he was going to be that role. So then, that was the first domino to fall. And then I talked to Ryan, hey Ryan, is there any actresses that you would feel comfortable with for this role that your character's supposed to have this important relationship with?
Sure.
He threw out some names. We ended up casting the one at the top of his list. And then we go to her. Do you have any people who you are? And she passes out Arjun. And then, so the dominoes. So they'd all work together, which is, for a movie like this where they need to come across as friends.
That's right.
That core group of 6 of them, not Annette and Mary Kate, who I mentioned first, but the other 6 had all worked together in the same circle. And they were the ones who were on set the most days together. So they had that chemistry pre-existing, which made them seem like lifelong friends. Which is what they were supposed to be, because it was supposed to be a group of people who knew each other for 25 years when the movie begins.
I think the most important thing, and a lot of people don't get this, is the chemistry between actors and actresses. If you
100%.
100%. I preach this,
yeah.
And people look at me like I've got 75, maybe 80 heads, but that is the honest truth.
As a director, it makes your job so much easier when it's like, hey, you guys have to, instead of saying, hey, you guys have to pretend to be friends, hey, just be yourselves.
Yeah. And that is so important, because if you don't come across as a friend or a lover, the hardest thing I ever learned in acting school back in 175 years ago, when I did it, was to actually know that if you're going to be on a close-up and you're going to kiss somebody, you better love that person one way or another. So you don't bring that across. You're going to see that. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, girls have broken up with me for that exact reason.
Let me see who's got the baddie. The Tom Mealy or my wife. I usually get one from at the beginning of every episode. No, but it's
no, you're 100% right. Yeah.
No, you can't be. Even thugs. It's almost like you really don't want to love your co-star. I remember going through acting exercises, when you bring it up now, that we had to hate somebody. It was almost like the teasefulness got to be more than that. And then when the scene finally arose, you really felt, you really are a nobody I want to be with. I don't want to say anything.
No, I agree.
And you got to have that chemistry for hatred the same way. It's incredible.
That's probably got to be the hardest one to get to, hatred, I'd imagine.
I think hatred is tough, and I think that, I got to say love. Because you know what? I've seen so many people go through it when they're in the audition process. And once again, I can't say how correct that is. That if you are the lead actor and you're going to be cast with somebody you don't like, it makes the job all the more harder. So that's why they turn around to the lead actor or actress and say, help me find who you want.
I just did that instinctually because I guess in my first feature, I wasn't in love with all the final casting decisions that were made, and
Right.
they weren't made with one another. There was never really auditioning with one another. So I was like, you know what, this time around I'm going to try something totally different. And I guess we didn't have a casting director. Normally I'd bring someone like that in, but on this one I was kind of going about it myself. But I'll be completely honest, part of it was because of a lack of patience on my part to sit through the auditioning process.
Really?
I was like, let you guys do this, help me do this. And you know what, I still think they came out as a great cast, and it felt real. It felt right. I think I lucked out, but I would do it again.
Yeah, but you put a lot of hours of work in. You see, you know, when preparation meets opportunity, success occurs. And you're saying you lucked out. I'm going to guess you didn't put anything less than a 12 or 15 hour day each day you were shooting.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So therefore, the energy that you put out there made that work.
Yeah.
And bringing back actors and actresses, either in hate or in love, if you can't get that out of them, your job is really much harder. And you can go ahead and ruin a good scene with people who don't have that type of chemistry.
I've
You know what I mean?
made those scenes before in my growing process, you know, where it's just the chemistry's not there. And, you know, that comes across on camera. I guess you're right about the love part being difficult as well, because I feel like that's the one thing you could sniff out the easiest when watching something, is when two people just don't have chemistry.
What I want to do is, I don't want to interrupt you, but let's go to some of those videos and let's watch some of those. Here we go. Tell us about it.
Hey, yeah, I just want you to know that whatever these results say, I love you. Okay? And there are lots of ways to start a family, like, you know, adoption, artificial insemination, kidnapping.
Okay, can you cut the shit? Like, you know damn well if this guy comes in here and tells me I'm sterile, it's gonna kill every dream you ever had of a white picket fence.
That I ever had? What are your dreams, Sal? Huh?
Sure as not having a doctor tell me I'm not man enough to have a kid.
Oh, okay. So you're worried about your manhood, is that it? You know what really makes you not a man, Sal? Acting like a little bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, keep acting like a child, Sal, because you sure as hell aren't ready to raise one.
Mr. and Mrs. Lodato. It's good to see you.
Hi, Dr. Pullman.
So, how's everyone this afternoon?
Could be better.
Honestly, you're lucky to be alive.
Is it that serious? Is it cancer?
What? No, he's lucky to be alive. He said could be better, and I was just putting it out there that in general, we should all be happy to be alive. You know, not take 1 second of life for granted. Well, let's get right to this then. Salvatore, your semen is fine, as are your testicles, your epididymis, your urethra.
What about my cremaster muscle?
Masterful.
So what's the problem?
Well, these test results suggest that there's no problem. These things take time. I know couples that have been trying to have a child for years until one day, yeehaw!
See, I told you everything was fine.
You're just talking about adoption and artificial insemination.
Okay, but I knew everything was fine. And everything's fine, right?
Right.
You already said that.
I was just making sure.
And I do know some adequate marriage counselors.
I can tell.
No, thank you. It means a lot, because we put a
that
lot of thought into it. Yeah?
That was an incredible clip. The composition, the art direction, the clips, everything looked really, really good. Unfortunately, that's about all the time we got left over now.
It's all right.
But let's think of what we've done. We talked about Bridge and Tunnel. We've overcome your 3 letters in your name, Dan. We got that straight.
We got it.
We put out a nice show. And quickly, if they want to get in touch with you for anything, how would they get in touch with you?
I guess the best way, go to bridgeandtunnelfilm.com. You could check out all the information on the movie. Through there, you could go to our Facebook. You could send us a message through Facebook, something like that. And I always get back to you, me or one of the producers. So if you want to reach out, that's
and you?
Me, just on Facebook. I got my band Facebook page, you know, for me and my music stuff, and then my personal one. If you want to talk to me, come talk to me. I'll be there.
You guys are nice guys. I'm glad you're having a show. I will promise to book you back on. Let's talk more about some of the upcoming things you're doing. I'm Jerry Parisi, and thank you for watching The Filmmaker Show here on Madhouse TV. If you're watching Channel 20, we'll see you next week. If you're right here on Madhouse TV, well, stay tuned. We got another show right after this, and an important word from Linda Ventura about her new show coming up. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with your one and only Madhouse TV. You are the man.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act One will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi from The Filmmakers Show, and I'm here tonight with a very important message about a brand new show that's on Madhouse TV and MH1 TV, and I want to introduce you to Linda Ventura. Linda, could you tell us about your new show?
Long Island in Crisis is an informative program that will cover all topics. Learn the signs and symptoms, learn about treatment options, learn about prevention, and know that recovery is possible. We're going to be talking about the epidemic that plagues our island, and that we are losing a generation of young people too. I belong to a club that no parent should ever belong to. For on March 14, 2012, my son Thomas lost his life to the insidious disease of addiction. I don't want any new members. Empower yourself to learn about this insidious disease.
Well, you heard it right from the host. So tune in to Long Island in Crisis starting Tuesdays, this May 5th, 8 p.m., right here on Madhouse TV and MH1TV.com.
Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. And this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk. Hi, this is Tom Mealy. You may recognize my voice from the Harrison Law Group, but you know what, people? Today, it's not about the law. It's about a problem. It's about a crisis here on Long Island. I want you to join us every Tuesday night with your host, Linda Ventura, on MHTV1.com to get informed about the serious drug problem here on Long Island. You may know Linda. She lost her son, Thomas, to a heroin overdose. She didn't know what the signs were. She didn't have the help. Now Linda's going to host a show every Tuesday night starting at 8 p.m. with live interviews. So if you have a child who may be showing signs or any symptoms of drug abuse in any capacity, you need to tune in. You need to get educated, and you need to see the signs before it's too late. Tune in, MHTV1.com, 8 p.m. every Tuesday night.
What are you doing?
Moving.
Where to?
Wednesday nights. Jerry Parisi and the Filmmakers Show moves to Wednesday nights starting April 15th. Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
I am Tommy Marr,
Otherwise known as the Maverick Soul.
and I am live in the Madhouse.
For my show, Maverick Soul Hour.
Come and join us. It's the place to be.
Right here on Madhouse TV, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we will put you out to the entire world.
You got that right.
I'm Violetta Analakari.
And I'm Leland Prater.
And I'm Shirley Nichols. And I'm watching Madhousetv.com.
You're watching Madhousetv.com. Stay tuned for the Filmmaker Show starring Jerry Parisi.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Welcome to the Filmmaker Show tonight. Got a very interesting show, but before we begin that show, I got a very important piece of news for you. On this very set is a brand new show starting on Tuesday, May 5th. It's called Long Island in Crisis, and it will be hosted by Linda Ventura. It's a very important show. It'll explain a lot of the facts. It'll give you the signs. It'll help you get educated to what you need to know about addiction. That show starts on May 5th. Right here on Madhouse TV and MH1TV.com. And with me tonight, I have a very important guest that also got some information going on that you should know about. It's saving lives. Now, I got to be honest with you, it's a little departure from our Filmmaker Show, but when you get a situation like this, well, it's worthwhile to bring it out. So my guest tonight is Mr. Arthur Lee of LifeVac, and we have my wife Michelle returning again because we needed to use it some demonstration, and Michelle's a good demonstrator. So without any further ado, let me introduce Mr. Arthur Lee of LifeVac and my wife Michelle Parisi. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thanks, Jerry.
So the first greatest piece of information I just got is that a whole city Am I right with that? Is now going to use the life vac?
You know, it's mind-boggling. We made this far. The city of Sarasota just outfitted all their police vehicles with the, this is the EMT unit for people that are professional use.
Right.
They, we just had the new show came out today, and we got their approval weeks ago, but the public is now aware, and they're gonna have them in all their vehicles. They got a chance to.
So, before we go any, it's such an interesting thing, and I watched it when you were on the Long Island View one weekend. Let's talk about why you came up with it, what reason you came up with it, and what it's all about as a utility. What's the best way of calling it? A life-saving device.
Yeah,
a
you're
utility
right.
life-saving device.
Well, the passion came from, and you mentioned Long Island Crisis, and I give her so much credit and courage, and yeah, it broke me up, but I didn't have the tragedy she did, but I had the thought. A child choked to death the same age as my daughter.
Oh.
I was in the hospital with a friend who kind of visualized it. The child was on the gurney in the hospital, same age as my daughter, and it struck me tremendously painful that what a death. You sit there and watch them 4 minutes and they're gone.
Oh.
And I was moved and said, I can't have that happen to my little girl, so basically did what guys do. Went in my garage and invented and tinkered. Now, my sister's a doctor, and she helped me with all the medical part of it.
Okay.
And I just persevered till I came up with a really simple little device. It's just a small volume plunger. There's a valve that you can hear in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ball that prevents so that when you push it in, you don't push the object further down your throat. So as you can see, it vents through here.
Okay.
Right? So you push it down, the air vents out, and you come down, and when you pull up, it creates a suction, pops out the obstruction.
Okay. Let's put that, let me just try. So this thing here works like you put it on the mouth.
Right.
You go like so, and you pop it out.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we take a fast demonstration. I see you've got your utility.
My Charlie.
Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Nice to see you. And we also have Michelle here.
You ready?
So let's see how easy it is for you to work, I guess, on Charlie first.
Yeah, let's do Charlie.
Let's do Charlie first.
Now, there's a cool story about Charlie. I don't know if I told you, but he was given to me because he didn't work anymore.
He didn't work anymore.
Right.
He died.
Yes, he was gone, and the EMT said, we were going to chuck him. You could take him because we can't Heimlich anymore. The bellows must be broken.
Okay.
But he said, you're pulling this way. It'll be great. Well, it turns out that Charlie had an olive pit stuck in him. And with my first one that looked horrible, it was glued, and it was just a Coke bottle shape. Me and my daughter pulled out this one, which I'm going to do, which is the normal test.
Uh-huh.
And the olive pit.
Okay.
So we in the end saved Charlie. So he's like my buddy, and it was a very emotional moment actually because it was proof of concept.
Sure.
The Heimlich didn't work, and this pulled it out and saved Charlie. But anyway,
Amazing.
thanks. Yeah, that one hit me because I was with my little girl too. She was sitting with me, and it was 9 months of various failures that
Sure.
finally got there, and it worked. And bigger powers than me had put a pit in Charlie.
Wow.
So that was an amazing thing. So anyway, we've done the person's choked. We've done the protocol, which is back slaps, chest compressions, and they've lost consciousness now at this point. We call 911. Oh my God, I don't want them to go. So the key is getting a good seal on the face.
Good seal on the face.
Now,
Good seal on the face.
On us, it seals much better. Our face is a lot
Oh,
more
sure.
pliable.
But ours is pliable. His is
When
not.
you're on Charlie, and then you give it a quick tug, and you pull out the obstruction.
And there it is.
Yeah, and that's as simple as that. Now, in our kit, the kit that for the home use comes with an extra mask for you to practice and get comfortable with it.
Oh wow!
And it has both the protocol practice sheet, so you can tick it off. It's all on the website, and it has the emergency sheet. Push down, pull.
Push down. Pull. Put it on Michelle. Let's see how that works on my wife. You look nice, dear. I can get a word in edgewise now.
Now, Yeah, right.
It
has a benefit.
You went through great measures to have a word in edgewise.
It was
He's
one
like
word,
Joker.
too. It was one word.
But
That was your quota.
You know, I wouldn't. The thing about it, you can do it. Like, it wouldn't hurt you. Like, I've done it a million times on my own face.
Right.
It will cause your nose to clear out.
Oh,
Pull it
good.
right out. But the key in that mode is it's really useful on yourself if you're
Right.
alone. My dad's 80 years old and he lives alone. When he eats, he puts his tray and it's sitting there. Because as you get older, you know, muscles get weaker.
Sure.
But you can do it on yourself. And it works really well on yourself because you're still conscious. So your body's still going to help a little.
Okay.
See my nose. I can feel it.
Now Michelle can get an edgewise word in.
Did you hear that? Oh my God, you got a good pull.
It sucked his brains out.
Yay, we
All
finally-
three working brain
Hey,
cells are
we're
now
done.
gone.
We're done. No one has a brain on the set now. But did you felt it, obviously?
Not only did I feel it, I saw my eyes pop out the other way.
Yeah.
No,
It
this
gives you a good pull.
I got to be honest with you. Looking at this beautiful piece of equipment, packaged very well. Not that that matters when you're saving your life. You don't care what it's packaged
Right.
like. But the logo, everything else. I guess you got the instructions here. The choking kit is called the EMS unit.
This is what Sarasota bought.
That's what Sarasota, Florida
At
bought.
home, or like the schools I pray, like we just got in a Brooklyn school and we're in a bunch of schools. It just mounts on the wall like a fire extinguisher.
Oh, I see. So it's Velcro on the back. It mounts on the wall. Pops out. So everything's like a popping thing here.
Yeah.
You got a great
Your
pains.
The
Got a
kid.
great pains to pop, you know.
Great pains to pop.
It really does. So we got this
Our new
thing
motto.
in here, and you also say it's for home use. Now, I imagine you can buy this online, right? Or
Yeah.
you just can't buy it in a store or something.
This is, you got to be an EMS. You got to have professional services training because it doesn't come with all the
Right.
accessorial practice kit, the instructions, the orientation kit.
Right.
But for home, personally, mine's like this because I know how to use it.
Sure.
So on my counter, I leave it there because my daughter's now 10, and when the
God
soccer
forbid.
team's over and they're all running around, I don't have to, have that pit in my stomach. When I became educated about this, you get more nervous. You don't
Oh,
get less.
sure.
One kid every 5 days, 4,000 people a year. It's about 100,000 emergency room visits for children based on choking. That's
my
partial
gosh.
airway, partial obstructions. So we don't even know how many, but I do now because now I'm the choking expert. I was a shipping guy my whole life. I built a freight business. This was not my expertise. But I saved her, and I couldn't be selfish enough not to help everyone. I had to do it.
Once you got that idea out, that was an incredible
Had to do
idea. Did you take a good look at this, Michelle? You know, it's an interesting thing. It almost looks like a plunger, and I don't want to say a toilet bowl, but it works the same way as not just the rubber one, but it's more like the bellow one, which you can get at any hardware store, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
This pulls out things if there's an obstruction, like a quarter or...
Well, here's the thing. We have a misconception, and it's part of the problem. I don't think anyone was trying to do this as vigorously as I did, because you're a person, you have a tragedy. I did the Heimlich, that's all I could do. The medical world sees a body. What could they do? So you're in the middle. To your question, an obstruction like a coin, the forces of which is stuck is very little. At 35 millimeters to 75 millimeters of mercury, our cough is 100 plus. This is 300. You felt it.
Yeah.
So with an object like a coin or a Lego, they may stick because they have points. They may exceed that, but they'll flip. And the person will be able to breathe. And see, a partial obstruction, you don't want to do anything. Take them to the hospital. They'll put them out, or they'll pull it out with forceps. They'll be fine. It's when you have no air.
Oh,
because then you're done.
That's a horrible way of. Oh,
Well, that's what got me.
Sure.
I mean, that's what just drove me to say, think about it. I went in my garage. I had no idea what I was doing. And I just started playing with different techniques to dislodge an object.
So what'd you do? You got this idea. You went to a local hardware store.
Yeah.
You got a couple of things. You cut them.
I had started with various different techniques of compressed air because you blow air across on a tube, you'll create suction. My dad's an engineer, and I've always made things. But it was getting too complicated. How to be cheap, how to be easy to use, how to last forever. That's what I had in my head. CO2, it's done. You go to use it, doesn't work. You know, there were numerous failures that would work, but they were either too complicated or wouldn't last forever. It took forever to do this valve because there's a ball in there for a reason. This will never rot. If I used a rubber valve, I'd have to be the guy that says, in every 3 years you buy another one. I didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
Because I don't want it to be 4 years, you didn't get around to buying another one, and
someone died. Oh.
So this will never...
A lifetime piece.
Yeah, because it's all polypropylene. And the vent is the whole thing, right? So you can't put your fingers over the vent. Because another valve problem is if you block it, you're pushing it down.
See, this is the vent right there, okay? And I think I'm pointing at the right camera. We've only got 100,000 pointing at me here. And so in here is a ball. You could hear that. It's like a baby rattle.
Right.
And so that ball, what's its purpose?
Well, what happens is when you compress, right, the air vents out here because the ball's up.
Yeah.
And as soon as you apply suction, the ball locks into place and makes it so it'll go this way and not that way. Like a flap valve. But the problem with a flap valve, if it's rubber or silicone, it's going to deteriorate. And then you need it, and you're going like this, and it's just going up and down as opposed to popping your head off.
Sure. So tell me, the Sarasota Police Department has now purchased how many?
115.
115. So I got 115 police cars.
That's correct.
Do you realize how many police cars New York City must have?
Yeah.
I can't even venture. Let's see, there's 6,500 buses in New York City.
Yeah.
3,500 sanitation trucks, all right? There's got to be 10, 15,000 police cars. And actually, that's not a bad idea to have inside of a police car.
Well, the good thing and why...
And an ambulance.
This is why Sarasota did it. Now, some of the challenges I've faced are ridiculous, but they went through risk assessment. They went through legal. The police have a good chance of being there in time.
Sure.
But they're not advanced life support system trained. It's too much, right? They got enough to do. So they're basic life. This is basic life support. You could do it. I could do it. Anyone could do it. So it's not an advanced life support where they would have to go through additional cost to the county of training.
Sure.
Basic life support, boom, they can use it. And since they're in the neighborhood, unlike, they could be down the block and get the call.
Sure.
They can get there in the minutes, because you got 4 minutes, 5 minutes, starting to get...
I actually can picture that as, the movie maker in me can picture just what you're saying.
But they got a chance.
And they got a chance.
And think about it, if every car in NASA had one, they're out there, I give them so much credit. They're out there. They got a chance to be there and save you. So that was the theory behind the police having it, because they're out in the neighborhood.
So tell me about the manufacturing process. You have a plant or what?
Yeah, well, the real key to this is this disc. And that's injection molded right here on Long Island. Everything's done on Long Island. It's all made in America because I wanted to do it that way, just because I think it's the right way to do, So it's all made right here on Long Island, and our warehouse and distribution is in Farming there.
Okay, and then the plunger is made there as well?
Plunger currently comes in from China.
Okay, so the plunger is assembled with this patented piece, I'll assume?
Yes.
Nice.
The whole thing's patented. This is the key. The valve, the venting process, and the technique of removal.
What is this, like glued in there or something? Or
what happens is...
It's a seal.
It's so cool you're asking. There's pins. This is a compression fit. This has a lip on it that creates both. There's an O-ring as well as this material itself overlapping.
Got it.
So the inside forms the disc.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I should bring one that's split. And then it's compressed and it squishes on the edge of this, so it won't come apart.
No, I see that. It's very sturdy.
Yeah.
And is that piece made here too as well?
These are purchased. I buy these. These are just from the manufacturer.
All right, so we got here what looks like there's a ball inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so piece one.
Yep.
You have your mouthpiece, two.
Right.
You have your breathing apparatus.
Two-piece.
This two-piece, this here, and this is yellow.
Is two pieces. And then there's this.
Okay, so the white piece. So there's 5 pieces make this up.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple to save a life.
Yeah.
And I guess on your website, people can get this. They're going to probably want to know about it. What is your website, just so we have it on television?
Lifevac.net.
Lifevac.net. Back to it, more questions. So now, about how many do you make a day in your factory of these?
We can make up to 8,000 now a day.
Whoa!
Yeah.
8,000?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got in storage 8,000 of these that you bought.
Well, we have 3 masks. In this kit, there's 3 masks. Because we give you a test mask, and there's an adult and an adolescent. In the yellow kit, which is the home kit, we provide you with an extra mask. That has 2.
This is 2.
It's got an adult and a adolescent, because that's for professional services. They know what they're doing. They don't need to practice. They don't need to every time. They don't need to get comfortable. This is the same as...
How did you put this in here?
Just twisted a little.
You just twisted it. Yeah, just twisted it. Just twisted it? He's just twisted it, Alice! I can't open it up!
Don't break my life back.
How did you do that?
That's okay. But that's it comes with 2 masks. Like,
Yeah.
I know my daughter's now at the point where this mask will work. If you had 2 children, an adolescent and an adult, you could keep both masks out.
And you slap it together in the emergency doing that.
You pull in.
Who chose the colors?
I did.
Yellow's a good color for something
Well, it's an
like
emergency color, and you know, it stand out.
It does. Now let's viewing audience.
Yeah.
Let's take a
Don't
look at
put
the yellows
Charlie
here.
in a
Just
life-back shirt.
now why I say this to my father, Dad, I don't understand why. What color is this? He goes yellow, and I go, Dad, what color is this? Yellow. Why don't the same look the same? He goes, I don't have an answer. You know why this is red in this yellow?
Is that what it is?
That's red makes
I
this
learned
yellow,
something today.
and there is less red here. And I'm going to tell you that there's a touch of blue in there. That's the advertising eye in me that can
That's
take
pretty
a
good.
color apart. Yeah, it's true.
I
Take a
said
look.
they don't match.
They don't match. But here the thing
That
is,
was as
you can
far as
see
I
yellow,
got.
which is bright. Okay, there's a little bit of blue in there. It makes it. It's not pure yellow. Pure yellow is like the downtown D over
My
on the
guys
other
don't
set.
like wearing that.
He
shirt.
doesn't like
It's
it. He
too
told
bright.
me I don't like him either. And there's more red in here, more like a school bus color, which is called National School Bus Chrome, which is just really red and yellow
God.
and some black in it. And by the way, this is a tint of yellow.
You know your stuff?
I have to. I'm in advertising. But anyway, back to, so you chose the colors. It's very, very portable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you know what? They should actually have these on movie sets.
Yeah, you're
Because you want to know a strange thing about movie people, advertising people, and I'm going to guess musicians. Nobody enjoys their food.
right. I don't doubt it.
I was on a set recently, and you know, I'm a union actor, so I get union acting jobs, thank God. And I have to be honest with you, when the crew ate first and the stars ate first, I wasn't the star on this one, don't ask me why. You had 5.5 minutes to eat this food. Now, they put out, you drive up to a movie set and you got your truck outside because that's the food you walk in with. Then you disco whatever you haven't finished, the food like the eggs and a souffle and the guy cooking on the truck. You walk inside and now you have breakfast, and the breakfast is put out, very nice. And as the breakfast is being eaten, they put out brunch because you need brunch. And then from the brunch goes the lunch, then snacks, both healthy, all the way up from candies to snacks.
Yeah, but you probably don't sit there and eat, right?
No, but and then dinner, and then big dinner. Big dinner.
Just gobbling the whole time.
You
right?
are. So when do any of us stay thin? The funny thing is, with all this beautiful food out, if you're on set like I was inside this set, you're going like this.
Yeah.
As fast as you can.
You're right.
And you know what? It reminds you of a wedding banquet on set because that's what they got. And you want to try everything. There's nuts and peanuts and blueberries, all of that. And there's nothing like this. And how strange is that we all eat rapidly?
The 2 points you said: one, you're eating in a hurry.
Yep.
You're not paying attention.
Yep.
And you're standing up.
Yeah.
If you know, there's a website for JT's Law, which is a high website regarding prevention for choking, and the key you just hit on 3 of the major reasons people have a problem.
And that's why I have a
Quickly,
TV show. 'Cause
yeah.
I hit these points.
Yeah, well, no, you did. It's true though. You really did hit 3 of the major reasons: rushing, standing, and not paying attention. You know, one of the keys, and we have a prevention piece in our booklet too. Is to sit quietly and pay attention to your
Who
food.
really sits quietly when they eat?
You need a light back
I
on
don't
set.
know
I agree
anybody
with
that
you.
does, unless you're lucky enough to have a lot of hours, or like when I was in the agencies in the city, we had a 2-hour lunch. And then if you didn't choose to go to the gym or a vendor was taking you out, okay, yeah, you sat for 2 hours, you got drunk, you came back plastered, but you ate slowly.
Okay, you just need the number 4 reason. Alcohol.
4 reasons, gang.
So, I can't believe you guys survived.
That's
this
right.
movie sets. Because you're up, you're drunk, you're eating and fast. Oh my God, you put them out there, will you please?
Now, let me ask you a question.
All these actors are going to choke.
They will. Let me ask my wife a question. Honey, you're in the school system. You do the education. And people don't know this about my wife, so I'll bring it up. She works with the special needs children. She does one-on-one. She's a brilliant woman. I have to say that about her. Got a master's degree. And she really knows how to get through to people. She actually gets kids to talk who don't talk. And I'm very proud of her for that.
That's awesome.
I also want to throw in my thing about the Common Core. Those of you listening for the Common Core, let's go with another Common Core problem. Here it is. So simple. 1 and 1 equals?
2?
No. 1 and 1 equals how many craters on the moon don't shine when the sun's not lighting up on it?
0.
Common Core. Anyway. I just love to throw it out. I have a few friends that are teachers, friends, and I gotta look at them and like, 1 and 1 equal 2.
See, look at this at home.
All right. Let me ask you, let's go back to my wife, now that we've
Yes.
got the introduction on what she does, okay, and why she's on the Filmmaker Show, is just to help me. Tell me, what about schools? How do you guys eat in schools? There's always a bell ringing somewhere.
The kids are eating fast. They have a short amount of time. It's usually about 20 minutes. And they're talking to kids. They're turning around on their chairs and everything else. And schools should definitely have these.
Well, the last kid on Long Island was the student in Brooklyn, autistic. And he mentioned that you work with those challenged
lot with
kids,
autism.
and that's
Yes.
it's really dangerous with that because they tend to pack and they'll just kind of, no one's looking, and they'll put the food in them. And, I would think.
That's why I was asking about coins.
Yeah.
Because I've known kids
There you go.
that I
I
worked
don't
with
doubt
that
it.
swallowed coins.
Yep, definitely. I mean, obviously, it's full obstruction is the key because if they get in there, it wouldn't do anything. It's not going to hurt him. Look, he almost sucked his head off. But
I did.
Yeah, I know you probably get that feeling too. But special needs, neurological conditions, disorders, really dangerous environment eating. And she was in Brooklyn. She was supposed to be watched. Come on, there's some understanding to the challenges to that.
Right.
But I hope for a life back in school.
Yes. They should definitely be in every
think-
cafeteria.
Yeah,
Should have
that's
one.
my mission. That's
Yeah.
my goal. I did this thing with the Ashley Wade Foundation this weekend. Oh my God, what a great cause! It's the Ashley Wade Foundation. It's for small children, and I was Superman, and I got to interact with them as Superman. But you get that precious as a teacher. I can understand that precious connection to children. And that's why my passion's been the schools. I mean, Sarasota PD is great. The Lehigh High School, Brooklyn, I'm in.
How do you go about marketing this stuff? I mean, I've got 50 more questions in 5
Yeah,
minutes.
I appreciate
How do you go about marketing? You said you wanted to do a commercial.
We filmed it. We filmed the commercial.
Got it.
We have kind of our initial commercial, and then we have plans for others I'd like
Yes.
to work with you on.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I'm good looking.
Yes.
And I pull my face.
That's what I told all my partners. I want to work with Jerry because he's good looking. That works out good.
You forgot cute and lovable.
Yeah, I'm lovable.
And have sucked your own brain out.
And I sucked my own.
we have
All
no
3 brain
idea.
cells. Wait, let's get
Yes.
this straight. One cell plus 2 cells equals
7.
How many sands on the floor after a rainy day? That's another Common Core question. So
I would do badly.
And they're doing the math assessments starting today.
That's right.
Yes.
Now math equals English. I wouldn't even want to go to school anymore.
No.
I went to the High School of Art and Design, which I had more fun than visual arts, the college. But we tended to eat fast back in high school. I remember that. Because not that we didn't have enough time. But what would happen is we basically couldn't wait to get to our next class. At least that's what I couldn't
I
wait
wanted to
do.
play handball.
No, Art and Design was a
Ain't fair.
great school, and we're probably going to do a special about that too.
Cool.
So, to understand this, you've got probably much more information than I would be able to ascertain right here on the show. And so, what's the name of that website that anyone would go to again, please?
Lifevac.net.
Lifevac.net.
Now the beautiful thing there is there's doctors that can cover the more details of it. You know, we have a neurological doctor that
Right.
explains why for MS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's.
Oh, my
When
gosh.
you're a caregiver, please put it next to their bed. We have a pediatric, double board certified pediatric emergency room physician that does the demonstration.
Wow.
His passion comes. This is unbelievable. 2 kids choked to death in front of him. Now, this wasn't in his office. These were all at event places.
Crazy. That's
and
crazy.
he is just our biggest supporter because his passion, because of what he's seen.
Sure.
And he does the demo on the site. And Dr. Holt talks about the challenges that the neurologics face and why it's important for them.
Well, you were on the Long Island View.
Mm-hmm.
You're on my show, The Filmmakers. We probably will get to talking about a commercial, which I will proudly be able to show off.
Yeah.
And this is LifeVac, a very, very, very important piece of the best way to say it, the most important tool you could have in your house is the way I would look at it, because who cares about a hammer if you can't breathe? I want to just mention, I am sitting on the set of a new TV show coming up to Madhouse TV. It is called Long Island in Crisis. It is hosted by Linda Ventura, who everyone knows of that woman because she belongs to a club, as she'd say, that no mom should ever be part of. It's all about addiction, and she's going to educate people to the signs of addiction. And it's a really important show to tune in right here on Madhouse TV or our sister station, MHTV1.com. And by tuning in at 8 o'clock every Tuesday night, you're going to learn the signs. You're going to be educated. You're going to be able to see what you need to know to prevent anything like that from happening to you. With that, I want to be able to say to my 4 or 5 friends here, Michelle Parisi, Janine Zarilli, Vicky Mealy, Tommy Marr, hope you're feeling better, and my good friend Tom Mealy, I thank you all, because without you guys, our Filmmaker Show will never be able to be shown. And with that, I'm Jerry Parisi, and thank you for watching the Filmmaker Show tonight here on Madhouse TV. Good night, everybody.